Hello, Argya. Hello, Hardevir.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you?
Good, ma'am. Thank you.
So, while we wait for other people to join, I would just like to urge you to have your cameras on and your audios can be on mute for now. But if you have any questions or if I ask any questions, please do feel free to unmute yourself and answer. Hi, Alex. Mhm.
Hello, can you hear me for now? Can you hear me
I
now?
can I can hear you, yes.
Yeah.
We'll wait for just a couple more minutes. Have your schools started, all of yours? We're still in the New Year phase. Hello, Shrihan.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, I would urge all of you to have your videos on. Just makes it more interactive. How are classes going, Shrihan?
Nice, ma'am.
Nice. How about the rest of you? It's okay if you can answer. If you don't feel like speaking, you can also chat here. Let me just. You can answer via chat. Hello, Pradyuman. How are you? We're just waiting for a couple more minutes.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. All your schools have started, everyone?
Oh, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No, Argya, not yet.
Oh, ma'am. 1 week.
1 week. Are you enjoying your vacations?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, Riti. Hello everyone.
Tanya ma'am, let's start.
All right, just give me a second. I will share my screen. Please let me know whenever my screen is visible. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Hello and welcome to today's masterclass. This masterclass is on basically mastering economics, specifically your IGCSE exam. My name is Tanya Rawat. I am the academic coordinator for economics here at Sparkle, and I'll be taking you through this session today. Before we begin, I just want to let you know how exactly this session is going to help you. This is not going to be a content teaching class where we go chapter by chapter or topic by topic through the syllabus. Instead, this is going to be more of an exam strategy masterclass. So by the end of this class, you should be able to understand what the exam structure looks like, what is the correct strategy for you to follow, if you have since we do not have much time to the FEB exam, what are the highest value topics which will give you the most return, essential diagrams, data skills, all of that, how the marks are allocated, just to help you prepare better in the coming month. All of you are giving the FEB exam?
No,
Yeah.
ma'am. May June.
Yes, ma'am.
May, June.
No,
May,
we are
June.
giving the May exam.
All right, all right. Sure. No worries. You can still get an understanding of how you should write and you should be able to prepare well for those exams as well. All right, let's start. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the exam papers look like. All of us know that there are going to be two exam papers. We're going to try to make this session more interactive, okay? I
Okay,
would
ma'am.
want. So there are going to be two exam papers. Paper one is an MCQ paper and a paper two is a structured paper. Are we all aware of this?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Let's look at it a little more closely. The paper one is a multiple choice question, which is going to be of a 45-minute duration, which will carry 30 marks. Now we have to see that the paper one will not only test if you understand something, but also if you can apply that economic theory or not. So in paper one, I don't want you to guess your answers. I want you to be more precise and in knowing what the concept is and making sure you apply it well. Common traps in paper ones would be somewhere you would see similar terms given, somewhere you would see partial truths, sometimes even true statements written, but just not according to the question, right? The main aim here is that the candidate has to answer all the 30 questions. So there are no optional questions here. All right. Now, when we get to paper two, it is our structured and data response paper, which is of 90 marks and is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. So in this sort of paper, you will find all sorts of subjective answers to write. There may be short answers, there may be longer explanation answers, there would be calculations, diagrams, conclusions, judgments, evaluation. This paper, as you will be able to see here, most grade separation happens in paper 2. All right. What do we understand by this? This means that paper 1 has more of those specific questions, which most students get around at the same amount of marks, similar marks. Right? Paper 2, however, is where you can actually prove yourself and score higher. Now we come to the assessment objectives. Are you all aware about assessment objectives?
No.
Yes, so what is assessment? So there are going to be three assessment objectives. Do you know what assessment objective 1 is? Anyone? So assessment objectives are basically going to be testing how it's basically how you are going to be tested, right? The first assessment objective is knowledge and understanding. So, understanding what the concept is about and how much you know of the concepts is what AO1 is about. AO1 is assessment objective 1, right? So, in paper 1, AO1 will be tested. It will also be tested in paper 2. AO2 now comes up to be analysis. Now, even analysis will be tested in paper 1 as well as paper 2. All right? The AO3 is evaluation. Now, evaluation, this is not an assessment of yours which is done in paper 1 at all. So, paper 1 has only AO1 and AO2 which are going to be assessed, and paper 3 also has evaluation. Now, evaluation, this is basically your conclusions, judgments, conditional statements, all of that. So, both papers, as you can see here, they are each weighted to a total of 100%. All right? Now let us look at specifically paper 1. So as we discussed, 45-minute paper with 30 MCQs. How do we master those MCQs? So we know that these MCQs that we see, they're not going to be a memory test. So they're not going to actually check if you remember the exact thing or not. It is going to check your concept. You need to have a clear understanding of the concepts. You need to be able to apply those concepts to short scenarios. So some scenarios will be given to you in a question, and you should have the ability to spot almost correct answers. So there might be partial questions, there might be partial truth questions, you might see some completely wrong answers, but you should also be able to spot almost correct answers, and if you can spot the exact answer. Now, paper 1 MCQ types that you will see, we know that they are going to be definition based, there might be application based, diagram based, calculation as well as reasoning based. Now, remember, in a lot of options that you see, you will think that they are typos or random mistakes. But most of the times, almost all of the time, most wrong options, they're just designed traps. They are not random mistakes. It is very important for us to learn that they are designed traps and not random mistakes. All right? Now, here is another question you'll be able to see on your screens. Are you able to see the question on your screens?
Yes,
Sure.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. So here we can see that there is a diagram which is showcasing a production possibility curve, right? PPC1. It is our initial production possibility curve. Now this inside curve is the PPC2. Now remember here, this curve is inside. Now, what is the question asking you? The question is, what is likely to have caused the movement of the production possibility curve PPC1 to PPC2? I'm going to give you a poll. I would ask you to answer. Are you all able to see a poll?
Yes, ma'am.
I urge you all to answer it. All right. So, okay. A couple of you have answered as A as the answer. A couple of you have done D as the answer. And one of you has also done C as the answer. Now let us look at the question, exactly what it is asking. It's basically saying what exactly is likely to have caused, exactly is likely to have caused movement from PPC1 to PPC2. Is it an inward movement or an outward movement?
Inward movement.
Inward.
Inward movement. When does an inward movement usually happen?
Decrease in resources.
Decrease in resources. So an increase in unemployment, which is the one answer that most of you have given, do you think it is actually decreasing the resources that we have?
Yes, ma'am.
Unemployment is, so are you telling me those people do not exist to be employed anymore?
No, ma'am, but the level of labor being employed in the economy reduces. So the level of production per worker would reduce because the number of workers is reducing. So total production falls for both consumer and capital goods.
Yes, your argument there is completely correct in the
Yes.
sense that production would fall. Yes, someone else? Sorry, Arya, if you were saying something, maybe you were the one saying something.
No, ma'am, I was just saying that I don't understand which other option it could be.
All right. So let's look at it together, right? So if we're talking about the PPC shifting inwards, we're not talking about the production output decreasing. We're talking about how much we can produce. Production possibility curve is showing the maximum that we can produce with the given resources and technology that we have. So an increase in unemployment just means that we're not employing the labor that we have. However, it does not mean that my labor has reduced, does it? The level of labor still has a lot of potential. So we're going to be talking about the production possibility and not necessarily the actual output. So how much am I able to produce? Can it be said that if there is a decline in non-renewable resources, the number of resources are going down? Does this make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. So the number of resources are going down, which means the possibility that I have of producing as much as I could have, that itself goes down.
Okay, ma'am.
So this is a good enough answer for D is a good enough answer if the question was, is it a lowering of output? And if the question is about lowering of the PPC entirely, then it is A. A is the correct answer.
Understood. Thank you.
All right. Let us look at the next one. Now, here again, I will let you all read it and I will send you a poll regarding it. Are you able to see it? All right.
Mm.
So the question says there are three key questions to be decided in determining resource allocation within an economy. Can you tell me what those three key questions are? Anyone can answer?
How
What
to produce, what to produce, and whom to produce.
Yes, yes. Yes, Pradyan. Yes, Shrihan. Correct. How to produce, what to produce, and for whom to produce. So the question is, what does not relate to one of the choices in the three questions? Right? I'm going to launch a poll. Please let me know if you're able to answer it. I would urge everyone to answer. All right. So this is, I see some have, okay. So I see some have answered C as the answer and some have also answered A. I'm going to end the poll here. Now the thing is, in this question is asking which does not relate to one of the choices. A, if you see here, it says whether all income groups receive the output. Now, does it not answer the question for whom to produce? Does it or does it not?
it does, ma'am.
It does answer. Yes. So specifically, look at the boldened statement there. You'll be able to see that this is not going to be the answer. The answer here is C, whether economic goods or free goods are supplied. So that is not essentially a one any of the three questions. All right. Now let us move on to how to actually approach the MCQs and avoid the traps. So the one thing that I tell everyone, this is what I tell in my classes in Sparkle as well, follow the golden rule, which is there are 4 steps to solve an MCQ, right? I want you to read the question carefully. Then I want you to predict the answer in your head before looking at the options. Then I want you to eliminate the clearly wrong choices. So we're not diving straight into what we think is correct. We're trying to eliminate all the wrong ones and then compare the final two, essentially what you've thought and whatever is left after your elimination. Which of these questions answers the exact question? Which of these answers answers the question, right? Now, I want you to watch out for things like always, never, and only. Very specifically, these ones. Because we know economics is a social science. So, social science means more towards behavior. And we all have different behaviors. No two people think and react the same way. So, always, never, and only, they're almost always incorrect options. So, if an option has always, probably not the correct one. Never, probably not the correct one. Only something, definitely not the correct one, right? So you have to figure out, you have to watch out for those. Do not fall for this trap. Another trap that is also set by the examiner is about true statements that answer a different question. So, like we saw in the first MCQ, there was a truer statement which would answer a different question, just not the question asked. So you have to keep track of that as well. There might be also cause effect mix ups in your options. So some would say that uh, a change in price changes quantity demanded, but something else would say a change in price changes demand. So there might be a mix up in the cause and effect. Correct theory might also be given within the wrong context. So you have to understand that you have to choose the best answer, not just like a true answer. All right. Now let's see this particular question and let's try to solve this with those 4 rules. Right. I want you to look at the question and do not look at the options just yet. When you look at the question, what is the exact concept that you see?
Microeconomics,
Microeconomics. What specifically?
firms and production.
Firms and production. So we're going to be talking about firms' growth internally. And when does a firm want to grow internally or encourages itself to grow internally? So I want you to think of all the reasons why a firm can choose to grow internally in your head, right? Once you've thought of all of them, can you point out specific ones that you would eliminate? That is definitely not the correct answer.
Option D.
Option D is definitely not the correct answer. Correct? So we're just going to remove this. So this is not part of our answer. What else?
Option A.
Option C.
Options C and A, someone said?
Yes, ma'am. A.
All right. So we're technically already left with B, right? Sometimes what would happen if you do not have an idea, you might be left with 2 specific ones. So the correct answer here is clearly going to be B. All right. So B is our correct answer. So what we've done, we thought of what the concept was, what the question was asking. We eliminated the options that are clearly not going to be the answer. We're going to look at what matches what we thought of the answer as and what is left out, and that is how we get to the correct answer. Now I'm going to give you another question. I want you guys to do this by yourselves. Figure out which one, read out the question, tell me the concept that you see here.
Macroeconomics.
Macro, specifically which?
International, specialization.
International specialization, actually. Yes. So now the question is, please be careful of the boldened not. Okay. So we're talking about a country trying to produce more of something rather than focusing on specialization. So we want the country to produce more of oil because it has clearly large reserves of it, but also not just focus on it. We want it to focus on other products as well. So now the question is, what is not an acceptable reason in support of this decision? Right? So which of this is not an acceptable reason in support of this decision? Which answer is clearly not going to be the answer?
A.
A is definitely not going to be the answer because A says oil is a non-renewable resource that could be exhausted quickly. So that is clearly in support of this decision. Yes? Which other option is clearly not going to be it?
D.
D is definitely not going to be it because the price of oil is volatile, making export revenue unstable, and a country does not want unstable export revenue. So this is definitely in support of this decision and not of support of this decision. Right? So now we're left with B and C. What do you think is the correct answer?
C.
C. So if you think of C as this relying on other countries for vital goods and services makes a country vulnerable, is it in support of this decision of producing a wide range of goods or against it?
It's against it.
It's against the decision.
Yes, ma'am. Because mm, yeah, no, sorry.
Both are kind of in support of the decision itself. Both B and
He is
C.
also in support of this.
Yeah, that's what. Both are in support of the decision.
So A, C, and D are in support of the decisions. Do you really think B is in support of the decision?
I mean,
I think
producing a
B is in
wide range of.
support of the decision, but it's incorrect.
It's not an acceptable reason.
Right.
Yeah, benefits from free trade actually increase because of specialization and not because of diversification. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So here we know for a fact that the correct answer is B. All right. Now you understand how we're solving the questions? We're trying to figure out what exactly the question is asking and how we can actually remember what we know and eliminate options. All right. Now let's get on to paper 2. This was about paper 1. Is it clear as to how you have to approach the MCQs?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's go on to paper 2. Now, paper 2, as we know, 2 hours and 15 minutes long and 90 marks. And it is more of a structured and data response paper. Yes. Now, as we saw earlier, this is the paper that is creating the most grade separation. Yes. So the first thing that we need to know that it is testing how you think, not only what you know. So it is testing about how your brain is functioning essentially regarding a concept. So it is assessing if you can apply the economic theory properly, if you can actually logically explain what you've written and analyze it. Are you able to utilize the data that is given to you or the data that is in real world evidence? Yes. And do you have the ability to reach justified conclusions, which is very important in paper 2, right? What you will be asked to do in this question, in this paper, is you could have, like we discussed earlier, short definitions, explanations, calculations, diagram-based questions, data response questions, and higher mark discussion questions. Now, different parts of the question, A, B, C, D, they usually test different skills. So I want you to treat them differently. Okay, they're all not going to be having the same structure of an answer as well. So now what we do and what I've told multiple times in my classes at Sparkle is that you should not follow the same structure to every single answer. If it's a question that is asking you to discuss something, to evaluate something, that is a completely different answer than to something that is asking you only an explanation. All right, let us look at this example. Now, if you see, just look at the question, you'll be able to see that there is an extract given to you. And this is a regular question that you'll see in your exam, right? An extract is given to you along with four parts. These parts carry 2, 4, 6, and 8 marks. Now, all these parts, they're asking you different questions and in different depths, right? The marks are a clear giveaway of the depth of the question required. However, there are other things that you might have also heard of in your schools as well, and something that we focus specifically a lot in our classes as well about command words. So here we can see identify, explain, analyze, discuss. All these four parts, they're testing different assessment objectives, right? Identify and explain command words, they're testing your AO1. Analyze is testing your AO2. And discuss is testing your AO3. So like we said, paper 2 will have AO1, 2, and 3 all being assessed at the same time. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
All right. Moving further, this is another example that you will see in your exams. Now, this is going to be specifically extract based. A huge extract will be given to you, and a couple of questions will be given to you post that extract, which you have to answer. Now, here, are you able to see different command words? Now, can you tell me, any one of you, all of you, if you can tell me what are the AOs assessed in these command terms? Which command terms is assessing which objective? Anyone? All right, we'll not do all of them together, it's fine. What are calculate and identify as command words assessing? Which objective?
AO1.
AO.
A1.
AO1. What about explain as well as show the effect, draw and show?
AO1 and AO2.
Essentially, yes. So AO1 and AO2 showing the effect becomes your slight analysis, but it is mostly your AO1 only because it is talking about how there is the knowledge of a concept and the understanding of that concept. Right? What is analyze testing?
AO2.
AO2. And discuss?
AO3.
AO3. AO3 was our evaluation. All right. Now, as I was telling you, command words are key. And anyone who has attended my classes knows that I always specify, tell you to focus only on command words, and only then will you be able to answer the question. Otherwise, what will happen is you might know the entire concept. You might have explained it properly. But if you've not written according to the command word, your answer is not going to fetch you all the marks that you need. Okay, so let us look at all the most common command words that we usually come across. Define, explain, analyze, and discuss. Now, this is where students usually mess up. Okay, define means you have to provide an accurate definition, economic meaning of something. Now, I don't want you to be writing a layman language English definition of any words. Now, economics has its own definitions for all the things. If I write, let's say, if I'm asked to define demand, and if I define demand by saying, okay, this is the want of a consumer at a specific price, is this correct?
No.
No. What is the actual definition of demand, anyone?
Willingness and ability to buy a good or a commodity.
Also add on to it. There's more.
At a certain price.
At a certain.
At various prices at a certain time period. Yes? So there are multiple points to your definition. So this might not get complete marks if you end it at willingness and ability of a consumer to buy a product. You need to have your time and your price as well. All right, so that is your economic definition. Now, when we come to explanation, explanation is just telling me something, why it happened, how it happened, and what happened because of it. So, cause, effect, and the outcome is your explanation. So, any question that is asking you to explain something, I don't want you to describe it. Now, describe is just stating what has happened. Explanation is why it happened, and when it happened, what happened because of it. All right? Any doubts in explanation? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay? Then we come to the command word analyze. Now, explain and analyze seem very similar. However, there's slight differences in them. When we come to analyze, analyze is about providing logical step-by-step reasoning of what has happened and what is occurring. So there might be something that might have happened earlier, followed through with a particular event that has occurred, but step by step, you're explaining every single step differently and then putting up a reasoning of it. All right. Then we come to discuss. Now, discuss question is testing your evaluation, right? AO3. So this has to have some sort of evaluation, whether it is advantages, disadvantages, whether it is impact in the long run, in the short run, or it is impact on stakeholders, plus a conclusion. Now, your conclusion has to be a balanced conclusion, not a one-sided conclusion. So do not enter into an emotional dialogue about something. It has to be a very logical, very well-balanced conclusion. All right? Any doubts in any of these? Now remember, writing the wrong type of answer will also cost you marks, even if the content is correct. Okay? This is also where students lose marks. Now this slide will tell you exactly where you're losing marks out on, especially regarding the data response questions. What we do, what students tend to do, and what I notice a lot in my classes is that if you are given a question, an extract-based question, you either completely ignore the data that is given to you, the information that is given to you, or you just copy that information as it is without explaining as to how it integrates into your answer. So what you need to do, you need to again remember that the command words are key. And when you want a stronger answer, you want to refer directly to the figures and trends. Now, referring and copying are two different things. Okay. So copying is if an extract is given to you, you write it directly from the extract and you paste it in your answer. Referring to it means you have created an economic theory that you think is the correct one here. Then you refer to the data, figures, and trends, whatever is given in your extract, as a as a link between what you know and as an evidence, essentially, right? You use phrases like this data shows, or according to the extract, 77%, something or the other, figure or trend, whatever is shown in the extract, you use it like that. And then you link that data to whatever economic theory you have written. So like I told you earlier, data has to be used, not repeated. All right. Your conclusions. Your conclusions also have to be justified. Now, these high mark answers, your 6 and 8 markers, they are going to require you to provide a justified conclusion. Now, what does a good conclusion look like? It looks like it basically answers the question statement directly. So you might provide an entire concept in your answers, in the body of your answer, in the intro and the body. And then when you reach the conclusion, you actually answer the statement of the question, whatever it is asking you. Now, a conclusion should also use conditional language, especially in economics, because again, everything will not happen all the time. So you could not have a one-sided answer. All right. So this will have you using conditional language such as this depends on, in the short run versus in the long run, what happens, all of that, and you have to show a balanced judgment. So, how are we reaching top band marks? Yes. Any doubts? Okay.
No, ma'am.
All right. Shreyan, you unmuted yourself, so I was thinking that you had a doubt. It's okay.
Oh, no.
Completely okay. All right. So, how are we going to reach top band marks? First, we're going to figure out the benefits of whatever the statement is. We're going to explain the drawbacks clearly, and then we'll reach that simple but justified conclusion. Now, if you do not write a conclusion, your marks will be capped at a certain level. So, you would not be able to reach a higher level of marks. All right. So, I don't want you to miss out on conclusions. Now, there are certain mistakes that you need to avoid. What do you think before I tell you what the mistakes are from whatever you've learned so far? What do you all think are the most common mistakes you have made in your exams?
Keywords,
It's okay. Keywords, yes. What else?
Time management.
Time management, yes. How do we avoid that mistake, Agya?
We can plan the papers, do more papers at home.
Yes. Yes. So that is one thing that we do provide at Sparkle. We constantly give you mock papers and test papers that you can actually do with a proctored set. You are going to be proctored and you are not going to be writing your answers alone in your room, giving you the opportunity to actually experience what it is like during the exam. So that not only do you increase your speed, but you also understand exactly what is happening where, right? Where you're falling behind.
Okay, good enough.
What else do you think are the mistakes, anyone? You might have made certain mistakes during the times that you've given exams. No one's making any mistakes. That is a good thing to have. All right, let us look at certain mistakes that mostly students do make and which I tell them to avoid. One is writing definitions instead of explanations. Now, when we were doing the command words, I told you about this specifically, that students end up writing definitions when the question is asking you to explain something. So if you're not showing the cause and effect and outcome relationship, just a definition is not going to give you marks. All right? Then drawing unnecessary diagrams. Now, this is a myth where you think that drawing a diagram might make everything better, might get you some marks. There are certain questions where it is not necessary for you to draw diagrams. Where even if you do draw a diagram, it is not fetching you extra marks. All right? You're just wasting time in those questions. Then we have confusing shifts with movements. How many of you have confused shifts with movements? At least once you might have. Yes?
yes.
Yes. So try not to confuse shifts with movements. Shifts are happening because of non-price factors, and movements are happening because of price, whether it be demand or supply. Yes? All right. Then we have another common mistake. You ignore the data in paper 2. So I want you to again remember, do not copy the data. I want you to refer to the data. All right. Not answering the full question. Sometimes we get stuck on one part of the question which is not even as important and we forget the actual question that is being asked. Or what happens is we do answer some part of the question, but we do not answer the full question. Also, not writing a conclusion and higher mark questions will cap your marks, like we just discussed. Ignoring command words, not writing according to the structure of the answer, it will cost you marks. And writing everything you know instead of answering the actual question will also not get you marks. So you might know a lot, but if you're not answering the question, it is not getting you marks. So most mistakes here, as you can see, they are going to be about exam technique and not the actual content of what you're writing. Let us look at this example here, right? Let us read through the example. In 2023, country X experienced recession, GDP fell by 1.8% and unemployment increased from 4.2 to 6.1%. The government increased spending on infrastructure projects and reduced income tax to stimulate the economy. This is exactly how much you should read the extract. You should have a go through once and not try to find answers there right then and there, right? Then the question asks, discuss whether or not fiscal policy can reduce unemployment in country X. Now, what is it exactly asking? What is the question exactly asking?
Whether or not fiscal policy can affect level of unemployment.
Yes, what is the command word here?
Discuss.
Discuss. So in a discuss question, what are you technically supposed to do?
Advantage and disadvantage and conclusion.
Yes. So advantages, disadvantages, conclusion. Conclusion is necessary or not that necessary?
Necessary.
Necessary because that is the structure of the answer. You will not get full marks. Now let us look at an example of what I
Ma'am,
would call a sorry, someone saying something?
ma'am, I was just saying, like, when I check the mark scheme, in the mark scheme, there's no like marks for conclusion, like for
Marks for
discuss.
conclusion isn't there, but your conclusion has to give you is not is giving you a specific statement. That statement is already included in the mark scheme. So if you actually look at it, you'll be able to see that statement is answering your one of the in your conclusion. So that's an evaluative statement that you're giving in your conclusion.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Now let us look at an answer, what I would call a weak answer. Now, can anyone tell me what all things are going wrong with this answer? Just go through it and let me know. Anyone?
They're defining instead of explaining.
They're defining instead of explaining. Yes. Do we need to talk about AD here?
No, question is unrelated. There's no clear line of reasoning.
Yes. Uh, is it answering the actual question that is asked?
No, it's just unnecessary information.
Unnecessary information, right? So they're writing everything they know. They're not actually answering any of the questions. They have given definitions instead of explanations. There's no discuss command word being actually understood here, and unnecessary references to different topics, concepts, right? Now, let us look at what a stronger answer would look like. You see this answer? Now, this answer, I will read it to you. You'll be able to see that here it says fiscal policy can reduce unemployment in country X by increasing government spending on infrastructure, which raises demand for goods and services and encourages firms to employ more workers. This reduces cyclical employment, right? This is particularly relevant as unemployment increased from 4.2 to 6.1 during the recession. Now, this is data referenced. Then we have, however, fiscal policy may not reduce structural unemployment if workers do not have the skills required for the new jobs created, and time lags may delay its impact. Overall, fiscal policy can help reduce unemployment in the short run, but it is unlikely to achieve a permanent reduction in unemployment on its own. Now here we can see the data from the extract is completely used. Are we answering the question here? Are we?
Yes, ma'am. You're only talking about fiscal policy here. And you're the one
Yes.
who makes.
Yes, we're talking about fiscal policy and whether or not it actually can reduce unemployment. So if you see here, the last conclusion is also given in this answer where you see that there is a short run impact and a long run impact also given. Also, what you see are advantages and disadvantages somewhat here. So how it might help, how it might not help. All of those are given here, and there are no unnecessary things that are being talked about. All right. Now, since we all might not have enough time, and when you're in the last stretch of before your exams, whatever you need to study, we have prepared a set of concepts which are going to give you most returns. Now, remember, this is not like an official uh, IGCSE giving you what is actually high yield. This is more related to the analysis that Sparkle has done over the years of question papers that we've seen, and depending on that, what exactly we feel like is the most likely to have to be there in the question papers. So if your last minute revision, these are your priority focus areas: demand and supply, especially including elasticity, because this elasticity also connects to your market failure with taxes, subsidies, and externalities. Any doubts here? We know it all
No, ma'am.
relates, right? Yes. Then we have firms, cost, revenues, and objectives, inflation, unemployment, and growth, a bit of government policies, and international trade as well. These are the most these are those questions, these are those topics that if you study, you will be able to cover a huge part of the syllabus. All right. So I'm not saying that this is going to fetch you all the marks, but most of it, if you are short on time, you'll be able to get through by understanding these topics. Now, let us look at this particular example here. There's an extract given, and there are 4 questions, again, like a normal that we have given here. You will see that there are various topics in the same question. The first one is asking about what?
Identify to identify who allocates resources now.
Yes, so we're talking about a mixed economic system. One concept is given here. Then the second one is firms' benefits, right? Then the third one is about government policies. The fourth one is about international trade. So all of this, 4 different topics, 4 different concepts assessed in a single extract, right? So this is also a part of one of your past year papers. So we can clearly judge that there are questions which arise from this. Now, I want you to focus on certain core diagrams which you should not forget. Also, do not draw them unnecessarily, only where it is necessary. Now, the must know diagrams are first demand and supply. So we need to know all the changes in demand versus changes in quantity demanded questions, shifts and movements questions, equilibrium questions, excess demand and supply questions. These are the must know diagrams. When we see elasticity, uh, elasticity, all the curves with all the values and ranges, and how elasticity can be linked to price changes and to revenue. So those diagrams need to be known. Then we have taxes and subsidies. We need to know that indirect taxes shift the supply curve left, subsidy shifts the supply curve right, and those diagrams need to be on your tips. Externality diagrams, which has your normal MSc, MVC, all of those. Welfare loss, over and under production in case of externalities. All of those need to be known, right? Then we have labor market diagrams, wage determination, wage differentials, and how the demand for labor and supply for labor are interlinked, and how they create how they set the wage basically. These are the core diagrams that you need to know. Now, when to draw? So when is a diagram needed? So if, for example, if a question is explain how a fall in price affects demand, we know that it is asking for an explanation, and this has a this has a graph related to it. So movement along the demand curve, yes, diagram is needed in such a question. If the question is explain the effect of an indirect tax, of course it's a supply curve shifting left because of an indirect tax. You'll be able to show it properly. Yes. We also have when the diagrams will not be needed. If the question asks you explain two disadvantages of a recession, you would not be required to draw any diagram. If the question is discuss whether higher GDP means higher living standards, you would not be required to draw a diagram here either. Yes? The key takeaway here is a diagram helps only when it shows something that the words cannot. Now, here is an example. I want you to go through these questions one by one. We'll go through them together. I want you to tell me which one do you think has a diagram and which one does not need a diagram. Does the first one need a diagram? Analyze why a fall in demand for labor may increase unemployment in the manufacturing sector. Should we draw a diagram for this answer? Yes, no? Should we draw a diagram for A?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
Okay. What about B? Analyze how the fall in demand for labor may affect wages in the manufacturing sector.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. C. Explain the external costs created by factory pollution.
No, ma'am. No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Explain two reasons why the government may want to reduce air pollution.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. Analyze whether demand for the good is likely to be price elastic or price inelastic.
Yes, ma'am.
Explain how the indirect tax affects the market for the good.
Yes, ma'am.
And discuss whether introducing an indirect tax is the most effective way to reduce pollution.
No.
No.
All right. Now, these will turn red or green, and you will know which ones you should have drawn a diagram for and which ones you should not draw diagrams for. All right. Yes. So the red ones are which you do not need a diagram for, and the green ones are which you do need or you can draw a diagram for. Do we see two different ones that we've said yes and no to? If I'm talking about explaining the external costs created by factory pollution, there are external costs. Explanation can be given better with the help of a diagram of external cost, externality diagram, right?
Yes, ma'am.
However, in the first one, why we're saying why a fall in demand for labor may increase unemployment. Now, there is a fall in demand for labor, sure, but that the diagram actually affects wages. So you're not technically showcasing unemployment. So it is better if you do not showcase a diagram and instead you explain it in words. Do these make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The rest of all, the rest of the things you completely understood well. Any questions, anything at all that you would want to ask?
Ma'am, why can I access this PPT?
PPT access, you can.
We'll share it with you. Who asked for it?
Arya.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, Argya, we'll share it with you.
Okay.
In case, okay, that's fine. We'll share it with you, Argya.
Thank you.
I just want you, before you answer the questions, I just wanted to give you a poll wherein you can send your emails so that we can forward you the mock papers for both paper 1 and paper 2. Please type your emails here. You can see it, right?
Ma'am, I just have one more question. How many
Yes.
paper 2 or paper 1 should we like attempt to do in a weekly basis? Or like
On,
how?
see, to be very honest, as many as you can, but I think a good number would be at least 2 to 3.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Um, all right.
Mhm.
Just give me a second. All right. So before we do end this session, I want you to know that here are some other
Tanya ma'am,
masterclass.
different screen is shared.
All right, sorry, something is happening.
It's fine if you're not able to share it. They are all our Sparkle students already. So you guys are
I'll
aware of the
just,
schedule already. We have chemistry tomorrow and physics the day after, and we have English next week. And yeah, the
yeah,
schedule is right here.
you can take a screenshot for this. All right, so this is the schedule. You please, I would urge you to all attend these sessions. These would be helpful for your exams, whether you are giving the Feb exam or the May exam, whichever one. So do attend. These are the next ones that you will see. And if you have any questions, you already know where to contact us. If you do not have the if you do not already have our contact details, here are the contact details. All right. Anything else that you would want to share, anyone?
No, ma'am.
All right. So that is about it. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, ma'am.
You will be sent these mock papers.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.